Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're jumping into one of the oldest and honestly, one of the wisest collection of stories in the world, the Panchatantra. Now, you might remember these as just some simple animal fables for kids, but you might be surprised to learn that's not what they were for at all. The Panchatantra is actually what's known as a Niti Shastra, which basically means a science of wise conduct. Think of it as a handbook for how to handle life, leadership, and, well, people.
But that brings up a really big question, doesn't it? I mean, in our super fast-paced, tech-obsessed world, what can a bunch of ancient stories about talking animals really teach us? Are they just, old tales? Or is there some timeless wisdom in there that we can actually use right now?
You know what? Let's put that to the test. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to look at three very common, very modern problems that we all face and see how the Panchatantra gives us a clear, strategic solution for each one.
Okay, first up, conflict. We've all been there, right? A fight with a coworker, a disagreement with a neighbor, maybe even with family. Things get heated, nobody can agree, and you think, okay, let's bring in someone else to help sort this out. But is that always the smartest move? Let's see what the Panchatantra has to say about it.
So this story is called The Cat's Justice. It all starts with what is basically a property dispute. A partridge lives in a tree hollow, goes away for a bit, and when he comes back, a rabbit has moved in and is claiming it's his home now. And, well, you can guess what happens next. A huge fight kicks off.
Since they can't solve it themselves, they go looking for a judge. And they stumble upon this cat by the river, who is putting on a total act, trying to look like some holy, wise ascetic. His whole strategy is a masterclass in deception. First, the disguise. He's sitting there looking all meditative and trustworthy. Then, he lures them in. He says, "Oh, I'm so old, I can't really hear you. Could you come a little closer? Just whisper it right into my ear." He's setting the trap perfectly for that final step.
And of course, the second they get close enough, the whole pious act is over. The cat drops the disguise, shows his true colors, and just pounces. He makes a quick meal out of both the partridge and the rabbit. I guess you could say the dispute was settled permanently.
So here's the lesson, and it is a big one. When a fight gets out of control, that third party you bring in might just have their own agenda. The warning here is, you have to be so careful, because if you can't solve your own problems, you create an opening for someone else to profit from your loss.
All right, let's move on to our second problem, picking the right allies. You know how we tend to do this? We look for the biggest, the strongest, the most powerful people to team up with, right? We assume they're the best partners, but is size and strength really all that matters in an alliance?
So this next story, The Elephant King and the Mouse King, sets up a fantastic contrast. On one side, you've got Gajraj, the incredible, mighty king of the elephants. I mean, he's a symbol of just immense power. And on the other side, the tiny, seemingly insignificant Mouse King.
So the story kicks off when the elephant herd is desperately looking for water, and they accidentally stomp right through a city of mice, killing thousands. The Mouse King goes to the massive Elephant King, not with anger, but with total respect. He explains what happened and just humbly asks if they could take a different path. The Elephant King is moved by this, and in a really amazing act of kindness, he agrees. And in return, the Mouse King makes this huge promise. One day, we will repay you for this.
While time goes by and hunters show up in the forest, they set a massive trap, and the mighty Gajraj, the king of elephants himself, gets caught in this huge net of thick ropes. He's completely helpless. He's trumpeting for help, but nobody can get him out.
And here is where it all comes together beautifully. The Elephant King remembers that little promise from the Mouse King. He sends for them, and pretty soon, this entire army of mice shows up. And they do the one thing no one else could. They swarm the net, and with all their sharp teeth, they chew through every single rope until the great king is free.
The lesson here is just so powerful. True strength isn't just about being big and strong. It's about your relationships. A simple act of kindness, even to someone who seems small, can create an alliance that saves you when your own strength just isn't enough. Kindness isn't just nice, it's smart.
Okay, let's tackle our final problem. Imagine you are in an absolutely impossible situation. You've been betrayed, you're trapped, and your life is on the line. What do? Do you panic? Or is there a better way? So in The Monkey's Heart, we have a monkey who befriends a crocodile. He shares all this sweet fruit with him every single day. They're best buds. But the crocodile's wife gets this truly wicked idea. She thinks, if the fruit is that sweet, the monkey's heart must be even sweeter.
So she fakes a deadly illness that, surprise, surprise, can only be cured by a monkey's heart. The crocodile, feeling torn but ultimately weak, agrees to betray his friend. He invites the monkey for a ride on his back, and right in the middle of the river, he tells him the horrible truth.
So the monkey is trapped. He can't swim. He's literally on the back of his own killer in the middle of a river. Panicking would be the end of him. But instead, without even missing a beat, he just acts surprised and says, "Oh, my dear friend, why didn't you tell me sooner? We monkeys keep our hearts in a safe spot, tucked away in our tree. Of course I'd give it to you to save your wife. We just have to go back and get it."
And the crocodile, who is clearly not the sharpest tool in the shed, completely falls for it. He's actually relieved, so he immediately turns around and swims right back to the riverbank. The second they're close enough, the monkey makes a huge leap off his back and into the safety of his tree. His life saved, not by muscle, but by pure, quick thinking.
The takeaway here is crystal clear. When brute force is totally useless and you are completely backed into a corner, your greatest weapon is your mind. Just keeping your cool and thinking strategically can literally create an escape hatch where it looks like there isn't one.
So, what have we actually learned from these 3 ancient stories? It turns out these fables are way less about talking animals and way more about strategy, psychology, and frankly, survival.
Let's just quickly recap these policies for our modern lives. Number 1, be wary of mediators. In a business dispute, or even a family argument, always ask yourself, who actually benefits if this fight keeps going? Number 2, value your unexpected allies. In your career, don't just network with the powerful people. Your allies should be measured by their character and the kindness between you. That quiet person in the corner might just have the exact skill you need one day. And third, in a crisis, don't panic, think. When you're facing a crazy deadline or a huge setback, your intelligence is your ultimate tool. The Panchatantra, it turns out, is a timeless guide for intelligent action.
And that really brings us to the end. See, these aren't just morals to remember, they're policies to apply. So I'll leave you with this question. As you look at your week ahead, where will you be the cat, the mice, or the monkey? Which ancient strategy will you use to navigate your modern world? Something to think about, right? Thanks for joining me.